I could almost change the title of this podcast from Fijian Medicine, Secrets of Fijian Medicine, Fiji Medicinal Plants, to the Journals, the Travels in the South Pacific. In either case, that's what you're hearing. When I was a young ethnobotanist traveling throughout the islands, long before there was Fiji water, there was Fiji. And long after Fiji water, there will still be a Fiji. But I'll talk about that another time. I don't know how they could be giving away the water in their aquifer like this. Aquifers eventually dry up, but, you know, that's a problem of politics. Now, where shall I go from here? Well, I have a lot of writings and ramblings from my journals, and including some headlines like Visit to the Bone Doctor. What's the Bone Doctor? Well, he was a man who knew how to treat impotence with a plant long before Viagra came along. I never met him, nor did I try the plant, but I was told it really works well. Anyway, there's other things in this book that would be of some interest to you, including what it was like to drink kava kava in the villages, and the dangers of kava kava drinking or yangona. I wrote a piece called The Healer is Deviant. Malpractice by professors should be penalized. How much time do we need to study another culture? Things of this nature. I don't know if they're of any interest to many of you. So let me pick up where I left off. This is called Essay on Conservation of Life. Let's put some perspective on this question of finding the elixir of immortality. That is it worth investigating herbal medicine to discover some secrets for long life? Let's go back to China some 1,000 years ago. How did any one man look at the significance of this question while shaving, cooking a chicken, or drinking wine? Was he content with how his time was passing? Did he struggle with considerations as to leaving or staying in a secure office job to seek an existence that would enable him to live longer? Well, to be sure, there was such a man. There was such an office. There were such questions. In fact, Su Tung Po lived long before the discovery of America, 300 years before Chaucer, half a millennium before Shakespeare. Yet when the records of England were scanty and vague, those of China were vast. Yet how do we know what this man in China felt and thought 1,000 years ago? Lin Yu Tang, his biographer, lists 124 major sources about the most loved and admired scholar of his times. For a century after his death, there was not an important book of memoirs which did not have something to say about the poet. Can you believe this? Su Tung Po lived between 1036 and 1101 AD. Has much to say about his quest for Chang Sheng, or immortal life. And we may as well dip into his perspective on the question. While Su Tung Po obviously didn't find the elixir of immortality, one comes back always to the principles of moderation, simple living, enough work, enough rest, and above all, no worries and avoiding emotional disturbances of all kinds. In other words, one always comes back to common sense. Su Tung Po expressed his common sense philosophy of simple living in the form of 4 rules for living, which he had culled from the ancient books. 1. Having leisure equals having power. 2. Going to bed early equals having wealth. 3. A leisurely stroll is as enjoyable as a drive. 4. Eating late is as good as eating meat. I love those. Don't you love those? They're beautiful.